and welcome back this week. If you're new here, hello. If you're old here, hello. Okay. If you're new here, I'm Kez, Phil's next to me, and we will be doing part 7. Yes, part 7 today, and we are going to be layering dog's fur. So can I have the other camera, please?
You can.
Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, so what we're going to do is find my words in a minute. Put my teeth in. Okay, start again. Okay, so instead of having a bald dog, we're going to put some fur in, and we're going to be layering. We're still on the spoon shader, so teeny tiny one, and I'm going to give that a bit of a clean actually. So just going to run this through this piece of leather. And what we're going to do is we're going to be doing mainly the scrumbling motion. The scrumbling motion is teeny tiny circles. So we're going to be doing that just to get some layering on here. So I have this is a Peter Child's machine that I'm using. We've got it set to a number 4, and we are going on now. So actually, let me just zoom that in a little bit so you guys can see. There we go. So we're going to make this bald dog a little bit hairy. So what we're going to do is just start here and work our way up. Okay, so I'm just going to do tiny fast circular motion just for these darker areas, because it's a little bit darker in this bit just here. So we're going to go with that. It has gone down a little bit dark up here, but we're not to worry. We'll blend it in. So over to you, Phil. Who is around?
Who is in this afternoon?
Who can we say hello to?
Andrew from AGK Woodworks.
Hi, Andrew.
Rob from Kingsborough Abrasives.
Hey, Rob.
Jacob from Jacked Up Leatherworks.
Hey, Jacob.
And Rob from Copperell Wood Turning.
Hi, Rob.
Lucy Butland DeRose joined us.
Hi, Lucy.
And Andrew from Wyvie Woodshed joined us.
Oh, hi. How is everybody today? And what have you been doing? What have you had anything exciting to do this weekend? Or done anything exciting? So just with the teeny tiny circular motions.
What setting you got, Phil?
I've got it on number 4. I did say that a minute ago, but you obviously weren't listening.
I was too busy. I was in the chat.
No, you just weren't listening.
Oh, guilty as charged.
Hey, you guys, this morning he came down the stairs, and he came through the dining room door from the stairs, and I said to him, "Morning," and he completely ignored me and spoke to the dog. So, excuse me if I didn't think you were listening to me.
Jacob's getting ready to go play Santa Claus.
Ooh, nice.
Rob's putting up decorations.
Brilliant.
And as normal, I've been informed I've done it all wrong.
Oh, okay. Is there a right way and wrong way to put up Christmas decorations? Or is that a big debate?
I suppose it depends who you ask you.
Well, we generally let the kids put our Christmas decorations up. So they kind of just like get thrown up, I suppose. But we're not bothered.
And Huey Limenot's joined us.
Hi, Huey.
And Andrew AGK says, Phil, just admit it, he's just switched off.
Yeah, that's the one. He does. He just switches off. It's like me.
And Lucy's been out for Mum's Christmas meal.
Nice. Sounds good. Do you have anything nice? So still sticking with the circular motions. Just teeny tiny circular motions. What we're doing was just going to build up the layers of this for the darker patches. Still kind of doing the circular motions, but in the direction of the fur. So if the fur goes up, the circular motions go that way. If they're going across there, the circular motions go that way, if that makes sense. It's kind of difficult to explain that bit. I suppose they're more oval motions rather than circular.
And, Andrew from Wivey Woodshed said, did she object to the 320 grit paper chains?
Brilliant. That's a great answer, Andrew. Love it.
Yeah, he just got somebody at work just to join belts together.
He's sat at home going, now, that's a good idea. How many different coloured sandpapers can you do?
Oh, so Lucy had sharing board for starters, turkey and ham hock pie, and then chocolate cheesecake with salted caramel.
Nice.
We shouldn't start talking food at this time of night.
Yeah, chocolate cheesecake with salted caramel. I didn't hear the rest of it. No idea.
And apparently Rob says, yes, Andrew, she's getting fussy in her old age.
I'm not surprised. So we've got quite, as you can see in this section, I've gone round, but you can see there's like lots of little white sections in here. Now, some of them we want to keep, but some of them we want to like blend out a little bit. So we're going to go over again just here, because this is a darker patch. Just so we can get the tonal value in there rather than lots of white patches. Because although it is light, it's not quite how I want it. So we're just going to go over these.
Lucy's keeping Andy busy today.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just asked Andy to do her 40th birthday card for tomorrow.
Nice. That is definitely short notice, though.
And Dewey's Shed's joined us.
Hi.
Were you listening then, Dewey?
Dewey, right. I thought you... Yeah.
She's just looked at me and gone, who?
I was just like, no, it's because... my brain was thinking Jigsy's Shed.
No, Dewey's Shed. And Dewey's Shed has got a question for you.
Oh, go for it.
Right. What tip are you using and how do you clean it?
Okay, so I'm currently using the teeny tiny spoon shader. Hang on. Yeah, it will focus in a minute. So I'm currently using the teeny tiny spoon shader. And generally what I do to clean is I'll turn it off. Just give it a few seconds. I have a piece of leather and I use the fluffy side. I'm sure there's a bit more of a technical word for that, but it's just the fluffy side of the leather. And I have a piece of white...
I'm sure Jacob will correct you.
Yeah, please correct me. It saves me rambling. I have a piece of white polishing compound, which is not too abrasive. And we just rub it on the fluffy side, we'll call it, until Jacob does correct me. And all I do with it is just run my tip through the polishing compound. And this just knocks off any of the carbon and brings it up so it's nice and shiny. You can also pick up a piece of leather, fold it over and give it a twist. Yeah, give it a wiggle in there like that. And yeah, you get a nice shiny tip. Simple as that. That is how you clean them. Here we go. So we are going back to the scrumbling motion, which is the circular or oval in this case. So the same thing, just slightly longer strokes just because it's fur. I'm just going to darken this bit down where the eye is, because that's where the darker section is, and fill in some of the lighter wood section. You can see from this side here, it's starting to fill in, but this side where we've only gone over it a little bit is still shows quite a little bit of the wood through. Now we're just gonna, this bit here, I've still got this on a number 4. I haven't changed the setting yet. Just fast movements. As I said before, the faster your movements, the lighter the burn. The slower you go, the darker the burn. So just filling in that section there. And then we've got where it joins, the fur goes over and up. So we're just going to do that same motion over and up in the direction of the fur. It doesn't matter whether you drag it down or push it up, as long as it goes in the direction of the fur. Whichever way you feel comfortable doing it, it really doesn't matter. Sometimes it's easier to go up and sometimes it's easier to pull down. Generally, when I'm burning and not live, I generally move my piece around. So I'll move it in the direction that I need it, so it's easiest to go. But for live purposes, we'll leave it in one direction so we don't send you all dizzy, because that would be really easy.
It would be, might you jot around?
Yes, I do. I do say, as I've said before, I can be doing this section here and I can turn my wood around and then forget the bit that I was on. I don't know how, but it happens. I don't know how. Should really put my finger on it, shouldn't I, really? Put my finger down and then spin it with the other hand. What were you laughing at?
Andrew, I think it's on the birthday card. Fold a sheet of 40 grit in half with the caption, "Now you've reached 40, here's something to help with the wrinkles."
Oh my gosh. You lot are so nice to each other.
And Rob said, as I used to find when I was painting, it's easy to get smooth lines if you go down rather than painting up.
Yeah, it's absolutely, you know, a personal preference as to which way you want to do it.
You're moving liquid then, aren't you? Whereas when you burn, there's no liquid involved.
No, there's no liquid involved, but it's still the hand motion. Sometimes it's easier to pull than it is to push.
I'll stand corrected.
Sorry.
Back in your box.
Yeah, that's the one. Get back in there. So just moving slower motions, and all I'm doing is single strokes. Just to fill in a little bit of this wood, just a little bit more. So it looks like I'm doing long strokes, but I'm not. I'm actually doing small strokes because I normally have my pen moving before I hit the wood because it stops the burn blobs. So it looks like I'm doing long strokes, but I'm not. It's actually hitting the wood for a small length of burn.
And Huey says, smooth hand lifts, 40 grit. That's how you're staying so young. Dose of 40 grit daily.
Shall I buy you a box full for Christmas? Rob, I need a box full of 40 grit, mate.
No, I'm on 20 grit. I've got past the 40 and the 50.
There we go. So still just on single strokes at the moment, just for this section. What I'm going to do is go for a little bit over here. Single strokes again. Just go in this direction, just making sure that you stay with the direction of the fur. I know some of you have heard that throughout the whole 7 parts, but honestly, it definitely works better to stay within the direction. And, you know, if anybody new watching, then, you know, I've repeated myself for them. Because, you know, there's nothing better than repeating yourself.
Yes. Andrew AGK says he won't go that far, Phil. And Huey says, yes, Phil, I'm a 40 a day man. Oops, I meant 40 grit a day. And Rob says, I'm not wrinkled, I have a textured surface.
That's a great answer. That's the best answer I've heard. A little bit. So just coming around here, because this section here actually kind of goes out a little bit. So we're just going to go with that flow. Go with that flow. I'm just going with the direction of the fur.
Andrew from Wyvern Woodshed, I'd go with the weathered, Rob.
Weathered. Going this way, and then we've got it kind of comes straight down this section a little bit. So we're just going to add a few straight bits in there.
And here he says, my buddy says his skin isn't wrinkled, it's lived in.
It's lifted.
Lived in.
Oh, lived in. Oh, so he said lifted. Oh, dear me. I'm keeping out of these arguments or these things because I'm only going to get into trouble otherwise.
Yeah, then you end up with Huey telling you to keep it classy again.
Yeah. Not sure how you can keep it unclassy with wrinkled skin.
Behave.
Never said anything. Huey, you get me into trouble every single time. It's your fault. So we're going this way now with this side of the fur. So we're still, what we're using is kind of like the bottom of the bowl of the spoon shader, just to add in shade, really. And just going in the direction of the fur. It doesn't matter whether you go one side or the other, whichever's easiest.
Rob says, weathered Andy, 2 days in the sun in Weymouth, I turn into a bronze god. Or as some say, radish.
Our eldest lad, he's got ginger hair. And so obviously his skin is of the very, very light nature. And he can get radish off a light bulb, can't he?
Yeah.
Literally, he's red. But he's bright red for that day. And then the following day, he's pure white again. So he can burn to a crisp, but he's only burnt for like about 8 hours, isn't he? Before he goes completely white. He never, ever colours. But he never, ever... He suffers with the burn just for a few hours, but that's it. And it doesn't matter whether he has sunscreen on or not. He can be lathered up to factor 50 and he still burns just for those few hours and then goes white again. I don't know how he manages it.
Lucy says she's lucky. She goes a nice golden colour.
Yeah? Push that up a bit. I don't. I go red as well. So going over that over the direction, because that's the way the fur is going on the muzzle, snout, whichever word you want to use it. Dog's nose. Yeah, you go really brown though, don't you?
Yeah.
You're really golden.
Tan off a light bulb.
You do, yeah. Actual tan.
Lucy says she's still got tan lines on her feet from summer.
Really? Wow. That'd be your sister, that would, wouldn't it?
I'm not going to go there, Andrew.
What have you done now? So still going in the direction of the fur. It's always the direction.
Right, Jimmy's got another question for you.
Yep, go for it.
Are the cheap tips from Amazon any good for beginners?
Depends on what machine you're putting them in. Some machines will only we'll take them. They're thicker wire. So like these ones here, they're quite thin. I think the gauge of this is 25, whereas which way is it? The gauge of the wire. The higher the number, the thinner it is, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, I thought that's right. So these are about a gauge 25, and then when you buy them from Amazon, they're about 21, I would say. They're actually quite thick. So sometimes you have to turn your machine up to get them to work. But other than that, if they fit in your machine and they work for you, then go for it.
Yeah, you can pick them up quite cheap, can't you?
Yeah, yeah. I picked up a pack to see what everybody was saying about them, and they've been good. I've just had to turn the machine up, whereas normally I would work, like now I'm working at number 4. When I put those in, I'm working at around number 8. So it doesn't give much room for going up and down if you want really sort of strong lines, but you know they do work. So where are we now? We're here and we're just a little bit darker on this section here. So we're going to come in there. I said I was doing the forehead and I've ended up doing the snout. I better move up into the forehead in a minute. So she's not bald.
Is that bald or bold?
Bald, whatever you want to call it. Somebody was correcting me on my... well, I don't know whether it was a spelling mistake or whether it was an auto-correction. Yesterday, because I'd spelt it bold as in BOLD, or that's how it'd come out on the post, and he was telling me, isn't it BALD? Yeah, normally. I was having a senior moment. I borrowed one off you. So
he was telling Lucy to try washing the car in her flip-flops to see if the tan lines disappear.
Yeah. So up here, we're just going in with some lines because the fur up here is a bit darker.
I'll try moving them down the border bit.
There you are. There we go. So we're going back up here because that's where we said we were going to go, and I ended up down there. So just plotting in the first layer, so just doing fast circular motions. It will leave some of the wood, which is like showing through, which is absolutely fine. Because fur is different colors on each layer, it really doesn't matter that there's, you know, some of the wood showing through, because what we do is we go over it and it just adds to the overall texture and look of fur.
Adds to the depth, doesn't it?
Yes, that word too. So we just add in the first layer in. I don't generally like to go too dark. I like to build up the layers nice and slowly. It just gives you more control over the burns and the depth that you want it to. If you're going with really, really dark lines, sometimes you if you do things slightly wrong, you can't blend it in or you can't scrape it off. So, it's nice. It's easier.
Where's the wood butcher's joined us? Afternoon, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
And he says, sorry I'm late again.
That's okay. So just adding in the first layers here. Just to get some colour on the wood, because it's easier to, once you've made a mark and get, got a little bit of colour on the wood, it's easier then to carry on and find out, see where else you need it to be. Still going with the direction of the fur. So I say circular motions, but they're more oval to go with the direction of the fur. So joining these bits up here. So besides Christmas decorations and Christmas dinners, has anybody done anything else this weekend? Anybody looking forward to anything next weekend? Just adding these bits in here. I have my eldest lad, he's 23, and he wants to take me shopping for a Christmas present. Anybody that knows me knows I hate shopping. Absolutely detest shopping of any shape or form. So I would say that I've got that to look forward to this coming week, but I'm not quite sure that it's going to be look forward to.
Yeah, so Rob says he's been playing with his new toy.
Oh, that's his 3D printer, isn't it?
Yeah, and surprise, surprise, Alex has been playing with 3D printers as well.
Cool.
And Chris Parker's joined us.
Hi, Chris. How you doing? Yeah, I did see, I think it was Rob that posted that his filament wouldn't fit, so he's had to print a, what's it for it? An adapter to fit his filaments in.
Right.
Which was pretty cool.
And Andrew's been making snowmen and now Christmas trees.
Nice.
I'm playing with his 3D printer.
Brilliant. Is that how your snowmen and Christmas trees will come around then?
No, he's been turning them.
Well, you never know. You never know. It came all in the same sentence. So still just plotting down this first, well, the first layer over here. This is actually a second layer over here.
And Chris says he's good, thanks.
Good, good. You been doing anything exciting this weekend, Chris? Just being nosy and finding out what everybody's doing, I think. And did you have a good birthday a couple of weeks ago? So let's add. No, we'll carry on with the first layer actually, otherwise I'll forget where I am.
Good plan.
Yeah. So just still with the direction of the fur, doing more of an oval motion than circular motion. You can do circular if you want to.
So Andrew's trying to print dragons.
Oh, nice. I like dragons. It's pretty cool. For anything in particular?
It did with the one-piece prints where you get the flexi dragon.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. Cool. I beg your pardon that I really don't know much about the 3D printers. I've never really looked into them, so I have no idea what you can do with them as such, and no idea what people have done with them. So forgive me if I ask a daft question.
Huey's been to pick up an argon bottle.
Ooh.
And a flow meter. and he's hoping to relearn TIG welding. It was last visited by me in 1987.
Nice. That's something I'd like to learn to do. I'd like to learn to weld. I keep threatening to do it and never get round to it. There we go. So getting those in there. Carry on up here a little bit more.
Wayne Bigfoot's joined us.
Hey, Wayne.
He
Valerie.
says he doesn't need to print any dragons. I have my wedding photos.
Oh,
See ya. Valerie, punch you.
Get him, Valerie.
Afternoon, guys.
You're so mean. She's starting to look less bald.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's get these bits in here. Just here. So this is just the first layer going down. Probably a second and a third and possibly a fourth in some places. Just as you layer the burns and add the tonal values to the layers. As I've said before, you can add all the details in that you want, but to make something look realistic, you need to add the tonal values and the depth of the different shades of the colours. If you add just fur details to a furry dog, a smooth coated dog will just look fluffy. And that's obviously not what you aim for if you're going realistic. Especially, obviously, with dog fur.
So Rob's printing a nutcracker as he seems to have lost his.
Now, do you mean the nutcracker as in the Tin Man type person, or the nutcracker as in like you're gonna crack your walnuts for Christmas time? Phil's been looking at a 3D printer. What would you print with yours if you had one?
Bits for the workshop.
Yeah.
And he's going to crack his nut walnuts with it.
Okay. Cool. So it's still just layering in. What are you gigging in at?
Andrew from Wyvie Woodshed says, just try insulting the wife, Rob.
Oh. Nice.
Yeah, that'd crack your nuts.
Some people aren't that brave, mate. Just move that over there.
So Wayne Bigfoot's currently 3D printing a cyclone system to build something similar to what I have for the drum sander.
Cool.
Oh dear, and he was scroll sawing yesterday, but
I was just about to ask him how his scroll sawing
he's
went.
broken Valerie's scroll saw. You'll be in trouble, mate.
Oh, how did you manage that?
And Alex, the wood butcher, says he's making the filament spool winder to transfer from one roll to another.
Okay, cool. I'm not sure how one of those works, but I suppose it's self-explanatory. But that's just because I've no idea with a 3D printer.
Oh, Wayne's been building shuttering today with dye.
Oh, cool. Did you get very far? So still just there. You watching the direction of the fur because it comes down, around, and over here. So just keep moving my hand in the direction of the way that the fur would go.
I did quite well, apparently. He's got one more day's work left on it.
Nice. That sounds pretty good.
And it should be time for some concrete.
Cool. Now that's the exciting bit. That is. I know it's not exciting as such, but it's the exciting bit because you can see that you getting your base of your workshop in, and the next bit is then sort of like building on top. So that's the really exciting bit. I'm not quite sure which way to hold my hand for this, but we'll work with this way, I think. Like I say, normally I would twist the wood around to get the angles that I want. I'm just going to turn this off a second to give it a clean. Yeah, normally I'd twist the piece of wood around for the angles that I want. But obviously I don't want to send you guys dizzy, so I'm holding my pen at awkward angles so you can see what I'm doing.
Yeah, Wayne says once the concrete's in there, there's no going back.
No, I know, but that is but you kind of look at the concrete pad and you go, oh my god, it's going to be this big.
I know we did, but we put this one in.
Yeah. You kind of don't realize how much space it's actually going to take up, or you go, actually that's a bit small, I need to add a bit more extra in Phil's case. Okay, so I've turned this on. It's still at a number 4, and we're just going to darken down the inside of this ear a little bit more. So all I'm going to do is single strokes, just because it's a little bit awkward on the hand. Just in this position. It's easier to go just for to flick to one side than it is going in circular motions just on this section here. So just going to fill in what we can, and then because there's some little white hairs, what we'll do is we'll take the little white hairs out with the blade. I think it's just a standing knife blade that I use. Just take the little hairs out. So if we just darken it down and then add the white, or not light, should I say, highlighty bits on the top there, because then that will give you the texture of between the light and the dark fur.
You tripped over that sentence, didn't you?
Yeah. That's not hard though. Definitely not hard for me. So just adding in single strokes, just filling in what we can. Actually, I think I'll just slow it down a little bit, actually. So slowing the hand movement down just a little bit, so the pen is on the wood just that little bit longer. Just gives me just slightly darker burn. And there we go. Moving up, you can just see it darkening down nicely. Can you see it on the camera?
Yep.
Yeah, that's okay then. There we go. So it's adding to the texture as well as the values, the tonal values. Now, I've had somebody message me this week saying that they'd been joining in with the burning, so they're burning at the same time as I'm burning, and they actually got carried away and burnt a whole lot more. And I think that's absolutely fabulous that
So they're in front of you.
Yeah, they're in front of me because they got carried away with what they were doing, and I think that's absolutely great. But it was nice that I'd given them enough knowledge to be able to carry on. So it was pretty awesome, that was. So just adding in these values here. They go in rather slowly, but I find it better personally to take them in slowly, just so you've got more control over the burn and definitely the fur. Because realism, you can soon like skew with something and it looks completely different as to what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, get carried away.
Yeah, you could, especially with you copying something. If it's out your head, then you can enjoy yourself and just go with whatever flow you like. But when you're trying to make something look like something, one wrong line and you're like, that don't look quite right. Especially on eyes. There we go. So adding that in nicely now. So I'm just going to go over here and pull it towards me again. But not towards me, to the side, in the direction of the fur, not towards me. Because this section is dark for that whole bit, isn't it there, look? So, and it comes off there. So coming down on this section here, going actually slightly a bit quicker this time. Because although it is darkened down a little bit, it's not too much on this bit. But there is still like a different tone to that section. Trying to go with the direction of the fur. I'll try this way a bit more. There we go, getting that in there nicely. There we go. You've got a little bit of a line there, as you can see. That is just the grain of the wood. So what I'm going to do is, if I do circular motions up to that line, just to bring the wood next to it to the same colour as where that grain is. There we are, look. So then that just blends in nicely rather than sticking out like a sore thumb. Saying that's literally just the difference in the grain of this piece of wood. Lime's not usually too bad, but some sections of it you can get that is just the grain, just the pith actually just burns that a little bit faster and burns a bit darker. So there we go, and that section over there. Do that the other side. So what I'm trying to do is not burn that line. So I'm burning either side to blend it to this similar sort of colour, rather than keep burning it over and over and over. So there we go, burning up to it on this section as well. There we go. So you can see now that that's nicely blended in either side. It's not perfect, but it's getting there. The layers are still being built. So everybody seems quiet in the chat today. Everybody nodded off.
No, Rob was asking when Andrew's 3D printer was going to arrive.
Oh, you've not ordered it yet?
His new is the one same as Rob's.
Oh, right, okay.
And the models are mini. So Huey had commented that everything AJK has is mini, so he can reach.
I do believe there's only about 2 inches between them.
Oh, you've sent Gideon to sleep.
That's all right then.
He's fell asleep on Lucy.
Kids are supposed to sleep. That's fine. He's going to look at me next time he sees me and go, I know you. I'm going to sleep in here.
Oh, apparently the new 3D printer of Andrew's is the one that Debbie doesn't know anything about yet.
Oh, she might do now. She won't just roll her eyes at you, Andrew. She knows what you like. No, it's just another new toy. There we go. Just adding those in there. See, that line is near enough disappeared now. Could you see it on camera earlier?
Yes.
You could, yeah.
You can still see it because you've highlighted it.
Yeah, I've highlighted. Oh, because I've showed you where it is.
Yeah. You focus on it then.
Yeah.
So you can see it. Whereas if you look straight at it or when it's zoomed out a bit, then you won't notice it so much.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So it's just sort of showing you what you can do with those kind of lines, because they're inevitable in any type of wood, really, because wood is wood and it's, you know, a natural product. So you're going to get lines.
Yeah. Lucy says he's now snoring his head off.
That's good. That's good. Unless you didn't want him to snore his head off. And in case that's bad.
You now know, Lucy, if you need him to sleep, you just play one of Kez's videos.
Do you think it might be one of those things that if he goes to sleep to it and listens to it, that when he's a little bit older, he'll know exactly how to do pyrography? It's one of those learning things, do you reckon? So still just going with the direction of the fur, just little movements, because it's a short-haired dog. So as you can see, it is slightly darker in this section, but it's slightly darker on the picture. So that's what we want. We've actually got an eyebrow bit here that's just that little bit darker. So I'm going to add that section in now. What I'm going to do is go with the direction of the fur.
Lucy says he may do. They say that you take things in whilst you're asleep.
Yeah. Just go in this bit here because it's just a little bit darker there. Just on that bit there, and then we are up here on this section here, and then we are over. So being careful to make sure you go with the direction of this. Now it's dark, but not overly dark as in, you know, sort of really black. So just being careful with the direction. That's it.
10 minutes to go.
Okay. Okay. For anybody that didn't know, didn't know, we do have a Facebook group. So if you want to join in for pyrography related things, then the link is somewhere.
So the top of the chat and in the description.
That's the one.
So if you have any questions and you can't make a live to ask them, just ask in the group.
Yep. And post your pyrography pictures too. More the merrier. I actually keep forgetting to post this. So I put.
You're asking everybody else to post, but you don't post.
I do post. I just didn't. I just for the past couple of weeks I've gone right. I really need to go out to the workshop to take a picture of that and post it, and I just keep forgetting to do it. I come in here, go, what did I come in here for? Do something completely different, and go back out again, and don't take a photograph. So yeah, and then before I know it, it's like, oh, it's Sunday again.
That's the one.
Yeah, the weeks just run away. I don't know where they're going at the moment. See, time seems to be flying by, but it always seems to around Christmas time, because you're sort of like trying to get ready for Christmas and, you know, sort of things like that. And you're like, oh my gosh, time just runs away. So just bringing this down a little bit over here. This bit here is actually a little bit darker than I'd like, but I'm not going to worry about that right now, because I'll either blend it in or we'll take it back off again. Doesn't really matter which.
Rob says some work always gets bonkers this time of year.
Yeah, it does. It's like everybody comes out the woodwork. It's like mass panic buy. Must admit, I've done it the past couple of years. Normally, I am ready, sitting back, and I've done my Christmas shopping, and everything is done by September. But
not this year.
No, not this year, definitely. I didn't do it last year either. It was like mass panic. Well, not mass panic, but it was kind of like late. I've even had stuff arrive today. Although Phil looked at me gone out when I'd ordered my hot water bottle. I broke my hot water bottle last night. So I've had to order a new one. It was really old though. I know I didn't sit on it before anybody asks.
Yeah, Rob says lots of shutdown work gets done over Christmas, so everybody panics to get the stuff they're going to need.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the bit in between Christmas and New Year, where nobody knows what day it is.
Yeah, that's when all the maintenance crews go in.
Yeah, it is. It is, definitely. So this section here is just that little bit darker. What time are we on? Okay, we got 6 minutes or so. So adding these sections, just being mindful of where your fur direction is, because that is really, really important. I know I keep saying it. I feel like I'm a parrot on repeat, but it really is important.
Yeah, Huey says they've lost a phase in the electric at work this week.
Wow.
The National Grid have had to take a big generator in to get them back up and running.
Wow.
Lucy says water bottles have a date on them that you shouldn't use them after, apparently. Yes, we know, but somebody doesn't Pay him any attention.
I have. Up until today, I was using a hot water bottle that was 2001. And it was actually my 2009 one that broke. I made sure all the kids had got hot water bottles and theirs are always up to date. But not so much with the ones that we were using. I'm just glad it didn't go once I got it in bed.
Yeah, Rob says he will get at least 3 phone calls Friday before Christmas, late afternoon, saying, Rob, have you got any? We forgot to order, etc. Yeah, it's always the case, mate.
Yeah, it's always the way. You just have to be ready that those phone calls are going to come in, though, don't you?
Yeah, but you can't ship anything because everybody shuts down.
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Well, that's when they have to come and pick it up, though, isn't it?
Yeah, you can have it as long as you fetch it now.
Yeah, you used to get the same, though, with your heaters, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Christmas Eve, somebody would ring up and say, we've got an event on New Year's Eve.
Or, no, they've got an event on, Boxing Day. Can you come and fix it? And it's like, am I not allowed any time off work? How's that looking on there? Push that up a little bit there. So, yeah, it's wherever you go, isn't it? It's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, and Rob says it's when they say, you got 500 grand in this in your car. My answer is, yeah, that's why I do wheelies everywhere.
500 grand in his car. Oh, dear me.
And Huey's reminding everybody, thumbs up, ladies and gentle folks.
Thank you, Huey. I forget to do that.
I just don't like to ask. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. There's nothing worse than landing on a video and the first thing they do is ask you for thumbs up, comments, and this, that, and the other, and ask. And you're like, okay, but I haven't seen the video yet. I can't like what I haven't watched.
Huey, Rob says, yeah, I'm off to Huey's with the 500 grand in this.
Yeah, Huey, it's your fault. Yeah.
Yes, Andrew from My Woolshed points out, it's a bit of a sod if your car's front wheel drive, though.
That's true. So I think we're going to wrap this up in a minute. Just adding that section in just there, just because it's there and it needs adding. There we go. So scroll this out a little bit, turn that off. So that is what we are looking like. There is the actual reference picture that I've got. And there is the little puppy dog. Now, we will be adding highlights in with a bit of white paint, but not just yet. We're going to get this section in and a little bit more done over the top. But yeah, I mean, that's basically, she's not bald anymore. She's got a first layer of fur in now. So bold or bald, whatever way you want to say it, Mr. H.
I never said a word.
Yeah, right. You've always got something to say, you have. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. We will be back again next week. What date is next week?
Oh, well, to be 17th, it'll be 7 days from today.
Yeah, that's the one. I couldn't remember what date it was today, so.
10th.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's basically the layering process. It is slow and it can be painful sometimes, but it is much needed for realism. Boop. So, right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I've had a great hour again chatting to you all, and yeah, that's it. Great, thank you very much, and we'll see you again with Phil next week.
Yeah,
see you soon, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Uh-oh, it's broken again.